I have made several videos on the dome, my replacement dome. I haven't posted any of them. Excuse the mess in my arcade room. It's kind of a mess right now. But yeah, this is a state of my replacement dome for the one that was in the last video, the primered one. This one is also a V2 Michael Badley dome, but it was printed on a Prusa MK3S Plus, whereas the 2017 was printed on a Robo 3D R1 Plus and was much lower quality. And I spent a crap ton of time getting it to look halfway decent and still wasn't happy with it. So, printed this one a couple years ago, and it was glued and bolted together, and that was it. Didn't do any finish work. So, this video I'm going to hopefully post. So, this is where I'm at with the dome. It still needs some Bondo. This is the two-part Bondo. And you can see I haven't done much sanding of the openings for the panels yet, but I have got sanded on blending the seams and in general the plastic. If we go over here, let me put this down. Here's what I have primarily been working on. Am I going to be able to hold this camera in a way without tripping anything? Okay. What I had printed already were the 5 pie panels on the very top row and the dome. They were printed, they had no sanding, no painting. Once I got R2's body finished this year, I thought, I was so supercharged, I'm like, I can get the dome done, no problem. Right? I was going to do it with no opening panels, just so it would have sound and lights and movement, and I wanted the holoprojectors to move. And that's what I was going to stay at until I printed either the Mark IV dome, which has much easier to install opening panels and pie panels and the dome panels, or the, I can't remember what it's called, but the V2 version of the dome, like the one I just showed you, that somebody has modified to also be easy to add the movable panels. Sorry I'm out of breath. I just spent an hour and a half or whatever out in the yard pulling weeds. Anyway, so this is as far as I've got. This is pretty much everything, all the panels for the dome. Painted either in the Sonic Blue Pearl with clear coat, painted with a metallic silver, or in the case of the buttons, I chose black. I did not have gloss black, so being in the arcade hobby, I had Rust-Oleum Satin Black, which is a very good match for most black arcade cabinets that were made back in the 80s and 90s. So I first coated them with 2 coats of satin black and then 2 coats of gloss clear, and they turned out fine. Another note on those, these are from the Michael Badley files for the Mark II dome, I think, although I'm not sure if the Mark III are any different. And I found that they are a real tight fit into the openings in the dome for the buttons, and they stuck out way too prominently for me. So knowing that I had to put paint on them, in Prusa Slicer, I reduced the X and Y size by 0.5 millimeter. And then in Prusa Slicer, I used the cut tool to cut 2 millimeters off the bottom. The reason I didn't just change the Z height by 2 millimeters is that would affect the geometry of the rounded dome tops. So I reduced by 0.5 and they fit into the dome openings just right. There's like just barely a little bit of movement, which the paint I'm sure will not only remove, but also might make it so I have to lightly sand the outside. Most of the clear coat I shot dead on, and not on the sides because you won't see the sides. So hopefully it'll be a perfect fit. I just painted them yesterday, so I haven't like tried to fit them or anything. The washer, I didn't find the file for that. I don't know that there is a file for that. It goes in the dome top. So some people use a real metal washer. I thought, why should I get a metal washer that's about the same size and sand the edges and drill the hole to the right side? I just took some micrometers, measured it, and did 2 different versions. The second one is the one that I kept. From Thingiverse, I got a parametric washer file, which uses a what's it called? OpenSCAD. And then you load the file into it, and it has plain text with comments that says basically outer dimension, inner dimension, and thickness. So what I ended up with, in my case, is 27.5 outer and 11 millimeter inner and 1 millimeter thick. Pretty sure that's it. Or it's 27. It's either 27 or 27.5 outer, but the inside's definitely 11 millimeters. And the first one I made was 2 millimeters thick. That was way too thick. So I made one 1 millimeter thick, and it fits in there just fine. And even though the washer is flat and that dome top piece has a slight curve to it, with the 1 millimeter thick, it looks fine. So if I just put some glue in that opening, crossing my fingers I don't get anywhere it's not supposed to go, and just press fit the washer in, it will look absolutely fine. So yeah, I got all those done, and I'm like, okay, I'm grooving. I can finish this. And then what else is in blue? Because blue really likes warm temperatures and low humidity to paint well. So if you see the leftmost second from the top, the pie panel with the hole, there's a holoprojector shroud that goes through that hole from the inside. That needs to be blue. Of course, it doesn't need to be blue. You can make it whatever color you want. Different movies, different scenes. Sometimes they're blue, sometimes they're metallic, sometimes they're black. I just chose, I want to go blue with that one, and black for the front one, and I think metallic for the back. So I have to print that in blue, and I have to print the radar eye, not the actual black eye piece, but the actual radar eye, which is a fairly big piece and has some highlights that need to be done in silver, kind of like the large panel down there, where you can probably see there's a line across the bottom that I want to put silver highlights in, and then there's a vertical line to the left. That's the same thing. I want to do metallic in there. So radar eye, 1 pi shroud, and then the upper dome ring. If you look at R2D2, he's got 2 rings below the actual dome itself. The first one is blue, that's closest to the dome, and then the one below that is the same metallic color as the dome. So I have those 2 printed out. Today I started working on the upper dome that needs to be blue, and put it up against my dome and realized my dome has got some pieces that warped a little bit, didn't stick to the bed. So I've got like some filler if I want that dome ring to be completely up against the dome. And as you saw, I don't even have a coat of glazing putty put on the dome yet. And the lower dome ring I have is even more warped than the upper dome ring. And so now I'm to the point where it's now September, and I don't think I'm going to finish. The other deal is, how perfect do I want this? This was supposed to be just a dome to last me until next year, when I wanted to print one of the domes that has the easier to make, or easier to install opening panels and pie panels and dome panels. So my thought was, oh yeah, it won't take that long. I'll just, you know, hammer this one out and it'll look so much better than the current one I have from 2017. That's primer and glazing putty colored with 2 different shades of blue. And yeah, well, that's kind of, yeah, been a problem because, yeah, now I am almost at the point where I'm totally burnt out. I've worked so hard trying to do this that it's almost where I was at, and took 2 years off because for a couple years, I spent every spare minute of nice weather working on R2D2. And I felt so good when I finished his body this year and I had a bunch of summer left. I'm like, wow, that's awesome. I feel so good. I got the body done and I've got all this time. And if I had just stopped there, I would have been great. But now I'm to the point where I'm like, well, I'm so far along. It's crunch time. Am I going to get it done? Am I not going to get it done? If it's only going to last for, you know, a year while the bad weather hits and all I can do is maybe print and make sure everything gets lined up electronically, etc., with the new dome, and then wait for the summer to actually do the sanding and painting. Is it worth even all the time I've spent? Should I just spray the parts I have, just get them, you know, just so they're just presentable, and stop trying to make them, you know, I made these a lot, some of these, you know, up close, like the frames, they're not quite as flat as I want. They're a bit domed from the primer and the paint. And a couple of the panels might have a little drip on them or something, but I took enough time to do a pretty darn good job. And now I'm almost kind of regretting it if I'm just gonna not keep this dome. So that was the other thing is, well, am I gonna make the other dome with the movable panels, or would I be perfectly happy with this one, since who knows how many times I'm gonna have show off opening panels and everything. Whereas if he's just sitting in the house with the dome that has, you know, lights and moving holoprojectors, I'd probably be absolutely fine with that. So it makes me want to do the best job I can on this. Although again, anything that I don't get perfect this year, I could work on getting perfect next year, and such as the hollow projector shroud and the dome rings, I could just do the ones I have now the way they are and then print better quality ones later, etc., etc. So that's kind of where I'm at now, is how fed up am I? How determined am I to have one with the opening panels? And yeah, how much time do I, how much will it bother me knowing that my final results might have looked better if I had just spent some more time? So yeah, if anybody has any comments, please leave them in the video, what your opinion is. And thanks everybody for watching.